Hey guys, it's Matthew here once again, and today I want to run you through my first few days of the Atlas new expansion launch, Atlas of Worlds, what I've been doing for the past few days, how I've been leveling, what character I'm doing, just talk about some of the maps, and basically just give you an update of how things have been going for me, and maybe you can compare to how things are going for you, or, draw some sort of comparison as to our own experiences. First and foremost, the Atlas of Worlds has released quite a lot of new maps, and some of them are really, just quite stunning to look at and very enjoyable to play through for a first time. I've only gotten up to something like tier 10, and I've already come across maybe 10, 15 new maps that I've very much enjoyed and not at all cared about what layouts they have, how efficient they are, just straight up enjoying running through them. As you can see, this, I don't know, Arachnid Tomb or something like that was really quite reminiscent of some other older things like Diablo 2 maybe, or even the Diablo 3 trailer that originally came out kind of gives me this feel, and just a bit of a nostalgia for that. And I also now see why they had to increase the spider spawn rate in some of these maps. Another good example of a map that I've been joining is the race course, tier 6 I think. Just kind of a nice long oval racecourse sort of map, couple of levels on it, and it comes across a trio of bosses that you haven't really seen before in the game, and they're kind of challenging. At this stage of the game, I'm already pretty well equipped to deal with a map like this, but when you see that fighting bull that I just faced start charging up a golden aura thing, that means he's going into 100% reflect mode, and you may very well die if you attack him at all during that, so be careful. I'll show you a few maps in later on in the video, but I'll go over what my character looks like now and what I've been doing with it. This is my guy, World First Shaper, a level 86, almost 87 Deadeye Ranger. Now I went with Deadeye because I wanted to eventually transition to Voltaxic with my character, and I thought the Ricochet, as well as the additional projectile and a few other perks, were probably the best bet for my Voltaxic character, and I went Voltaxic because I wanted to face or be as well equipped as possible to face any challenges in the game, and that includes unknown bosses that I don't know what they'll do. But to start off with, I just went with physical bows, and as you can see, this is currently the tree with some fizz nodes around here, some fizz nodes over there, and various other things, which I will eventually transition into Voltaxic. But for now, I've been running a physical bow, and I leveled right from the get-go with fizz, which was a bit of a struggle, but if you can buy yourself like a Wrath's Reach and a Death's Harp as you're leveling, it should be really easy and help quite a lot. But I've personally been using Tornado Shot with a varied amount of physical sort of things, so GMP, Proj, Fizz Proj, added fire, faster attacks, and with the Tornado Shot I then have 6 arrows, and they also chain an extra time from the Deadeye passive, which makes clearing packs very efficient, and your single target still isn't too bad because Tornado Shot does well, and Puncture helps out every now and again, which is on a Puncture, Fizz Proj, Slow Proj, and Crit Multi 4-link. The bow is about 230 DPS, and it's carrying me quite comfortably into tier 9 or 10 maps, and some of my gear varies from extremely shit to rather decent, and pretty much all self-found at this stage except for a rat's nest which I bought. But I do still need to update a lot and buy quite a bit of gear to break certain life thresholds and defensive and offensive thresholds. But the character's going okay. Ultimately, I think I will be going Voltaxic just for a more smooth mapping experience, because you have to worry less about mods, about reflect, and I can build more defensive, while I also think it will be slightly more offensive. My Atlas itself, I started in the top left with a crystal ore map and have been branching out ever since. As well as that, I did start out with a bit of Jungle Valley too around this area, but mostly from the top left and doing what I can from there on out. That said, my mapping experience has been rather tough. I've been stuck in a tier 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 maps for about, I don't know, 15 hours now. Just non-stop grinding these maps, occasionally jumping up to your 6, 7, 8, and every so often a 9. But Beyond that, I've been very much struggling to upgrade. I haven't really gone out of my way to skip any maps or anything. I'm just going for as much completion as possible. And at this stage, I am level 86, almost 87, and I've played 1.5 days pretty much, most of which has been mapping. So the map system has been quite oppressive towards my current drops, and as you can see here, I have pretty much an infinite supply of white maps, and I'm going to have to try and upgrade a few of them. Probably going to have to try and buy a few maps off people so that I can attempt to progress my character through maps where I apparently cannot myself, because I have actually had a decent bit of luck by running some Atsiri sets that I've found myself, and I've already found 3 Mortal Hopes. So you win some, you lose some. Got some good Mortal Hopes, had absolutely terrible map drops. Besides that, I've also found a couple of corrupted 6-links from a Corrupting Tempest that I ran, so make sure you're getting on top of those from Navali every now and again. But something else I'll mention is my coin drop rate has been abysmal. I've had to buy a few extra coins from people, and I do recommend doing that since they're really cheap, and just run your prophecies every now and again, try and get rid of them and get new ones, just by pretty much putting them on autopilot. Sometimes you get a really cool one like a Corrupting Tempest, and that can carry you through some serious currency gains. Pretty soon I'll be swapping into Voltaxic and hopefully going for Uber Atsiri and then maybe some high-end maps, and trying to take this character into tier 16s as well as the Shaper, which I am, mind you, going completely blind into. I have not watched any of the videos, nor do I know what he does or how hard he is. As far as I know, this character will never be able to do it, but I will be giving it my best and trying anyway. Back to a few more map highlights. This map here is The Beach, and it's basically just a mix of a beach and on a slightly forested and enclosed area. It's a very nice, I think, tier 2 map for you guys to run, and visually pleasing, pretty damn smooth. It's like the new sort of Strand, but just a bit more comfortable to run even, and with a shitty kind of boss at the end. He's a little bit hard when you're weak, but nothing too serious. I believe this is an Acid Lakes, and also a rather nice map. What seems to be sort of a trend is a lot of these maps are a lot more straightforward on their layout. There's less backtracking and side areas, so it's still pretty linear. Occasionally you have to go off to a side area, but for the most part mapping has become much more enjoyable with these new layouts, at least for me personally, and sometimes you will have to face a slightly more challenging boss, and I very much welcome that. Pretty much every boss has been somewhat revamped, and has become more tougher, and you have to think more about fighting them, at least until you get an overkill of DPS for that level of boss, and then you just shit all over him once again. This here is a Barrows map, and it's one of the maps they've been talking about that has sort of 2 different styles, up top and down bottom, so you'll enter a few caves every now and again and clear them. This is a reef, and this is the boss room of the reef, with some sort of boss that like throws Molotovs. There's a treasure chest in there. I think he even had a golem or something with him. I wasn't really paying too much attention when I first ran into it, but it's a fairly nice room, fairly nice boss fight. Reef map got revamped a lot as well, so it's much more arted up, I guess you could say, graphically pleasing. As well as a lot of other old maps, like this here being a plateau, has got a visual update. It's a bit darker and grittier, and there's more to look at on the inside. As well as that, there's some new bosses. This here was double boss though, so apparently I think there's 2 totems here. I happen to have 4 though, and these guys are no joke when with the right mods, so be very careful of these guys. And yeah, a lot of other bosses, so pretty much go into every boss fight these days with a bit of caution and find out what's going to happen, play it a bit safe. That's about it from me today, guys. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll give you some more updates in the future.